Holy smokers, this ain't no jokers. The rumors are true. I have sold and liquidated 100% of my Tesla shares here today. We have filed for divorce and we have now achieved a divorce. I have sold it all. Now, when I found Tesla, she was a junkie. No one wanted her. And I saw the beauty in her and I said, this could really be something. And it was magical. It was magical for a long time. I made more money than I ever dreamt on Tesla stock between all the shares I had in the public account and my private portfolios. It's unbelievable amount of profits I got to take out of Tesla over the last number of years, right? But let me be very clear about Tesla. She's relapsed into being a junkie once again. And I tried to save the marriage and I hoped things would clean up. And over the last few years, things have just deteriorated worse and worse and worse. And so now I'm at the stage where I have to let her go. And it's somebody else's turn now at this point in time. And if somebody else can save her, good for them. I'm happy for them, right? And I have more attractive girls lined up across the block that I have options for right now when I'm with this junkie and I'm like, what am I doing here? And so I'm hoping for the best for everybody in regards to Tesla moving forward. I know a lot of people were very upset with me selling the remainder of my shares. They're, saying things like, I hope you regret this decision, horrible decision, all these sorts of things, and kind of, I hope everybody makes money in Tesla over the next few years, but I am not optimistic whatsoever. In this video here today, I think it's very important everybody listens to this one and really digests this one here today, because this is a stock I've held for many, many years. I saw the stock when everybody had cast this one away. And so I know this company very, very well. And so I'm going to go over 5 reasons I sold today. And it's very important everybody listens very closely to all 5 of those reasons, because if you miss even one, you're going to miss the whole show, okay? And by the way, there was a lot more than 5 reasons I could have gone into in this video here today. I just want to cover the main 5, okay? Second thing we'll get into is, what would it take for me to buy Tesla back in future years? Let's say next year or the year after, something like that. What would I need to see in regards to Tesla, okay? Obviously, hard decision for me to sell out of this one. Only thing I ask from you guys is to smash that like button on this video. If you could do that for me, that would mean the world. That would be all the support in the world. That's all I need from you guys. If you want to be subscribed here to the channel, you can certainly subscribe. And I'm always here to cover all this stuff. Who else is willing to do this? Who else is willing to make these controversy moves like buying Tesla back in the day when that was the most hated stock? I remember selling out of my Apple shares, buying Tesla with the money, and being laughed out of the building. You're selling Apple to buy Tesla? What a joke, right? And obviously, the rest is history, and the amount of money I made from the stock was insane. And now I'm obviously getting a lot of hate because I'm selling, sold out all my shares. And so, we'll see how things turn out, but I think there's better options out there, and we're going to go through that in this video here today. So I hope you guys appreciate me being vulnerable and sharing all this stuff with you, okay? Alrighty. Let's get rolling. Let's get into these 5 reasons. Number 1, first reason I sold out of Tesla is it's a core business that is in decline. This is not a debate. This is not an opinion. This is factual. Tesla's core business is in decline now at this point in time. Obviously, electric vehicles have been taking off across the world, including, obviously, the United States, right? United States has kind of been a little bit of a lagger, but even in the United States, if we look at the latest market share data, up to 8% roughly of vehicles sold. Look at this. In 2024, the U.S. EV market has reached an 8.1% market share. So clearly, EVs, that were the future are here now, right? They're becoming a bigger and bigger thing. Now, with all that, you would expect Tesla to be tearing it up, right? Well, if we look back a few years ago, Tesla had around a 75% market share in the United States when it came to electric vehicles. Now, what do you think that number is now? Well, we can fast forward a little bit, and in the latest data we have, Tesla's all the way down to 43% of the market share. There's a clear trend that Tesla's market share is eroding, and eroding pretty darn rapidly. Like if we just go back to this same period last year, we are 52% market share. Now down to 43%. If we go back to the previous year's quarter, we are 62% market share, right? So it is not just that Tesla's losing market share, it's that it's losing market share at an accelerating clip, in that we don't even know where Tesla's market share is going to end up. Where are they going to end up of EVs? 5%, 10%, 20%, like we don't know. We just know it's going lower and lower and lower. And, it's pretty dramatic. I mean, to lose another almost, 9 percentage points of market share just in the past year, No bueno, no bueno, right? Now, if we look at electric vehicle sales volume change by automaker 2024 versus 2023, what you're going to find is Tesla was not just the worst, but by far and away the worst when it came to electric vehicle sales. That's huge problems. And by the way, this is 2024 numbers. This is before all the protests. So if you think has anything to do with the latest stuff, that drama about people protesting Tesla and out in front of the Tesla dealerships and blah, 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 this has nothing to do with this. We're looking at 2024 numbers right now, what I'm showing you. And so this is way before all of that. And so there's a clear trend that Tesla has major issues inside the United States of America, right? Now, the Chinese have been taking EVs more serious than anybody, than any country by a mile, right? And it's gotten to the point where in 2024, nearly 1 out of every 2 cars sold in China was an electric vehicle. EVs are a huge thing in China, and probably in the next few years, like EVs will be like nearly 100% of sales. Like they'll likely end up completely outlawing anything other than an EV essentially, right? Now, what has happened to Tesla in China? Well, now BYD has surpassed Tesla in terms of both sales and revenue now at this point in time. And honestly, that gap is going to eventually widen quite dramatically, it looks like here, right? Now, in China, the issue is like Tesla's having trouble moving product now there, but even when you do move product, there's little money to be made because the market is so competitive. Like in China, there's at least 5 to 10 serious EV competitors in China. And so when you have that many serious competitors that have very compelling products in the market, and I have friends that go to China and they'll send me photos when they're over there and whatnot, and folks in my private stock group that will send me photos, the product looks good. Like the cars on the exterior look pretty darn attractive. The software looks phenomenal that these cars have. The range looks good. And it's like there's a bunch of competitors in China. And so it's just going to get more competitive over the next few years. And so even when you do sell an EV in China, there's very, very little money to even be made over there now at this point in time, right? Now, if we look at the number of Tesla vehicles sold worldwide, right, what we're going to find is the early signs that Tesla was already starting to have some troubles was back in 2023. Because basically, Elon was thinking like production was going to go up easily like 50% a year, right? And we already started to have some troubles in 2023. But then last year, 2024, was kind of like, it's obvious now. Because volumes didn't go up that 50%. They actually went down. Vehicles delivered worldwide went down for Tesla in 2024. And that's even with all the price cuts at Tesla. Think about all the price cutting Tesla did in 2023 and going into 2024, right? Price cut after price cut. It's all we heard. And even with all those price cuts, they still had volumes be down. That's no bueno whatsoever, right? And you know, it's sad because it didn't really have to be this way in regards to Tesla sales volumes going down, right? Because Tesla's product is great, like phenomenal product. I drive all types of different cars throughout my life, have experienced them. I'll even rent cars, you know, everything from a BMW to Mercedes to just, you know, SUVs and American products. At the end of the day, like Tesla has a phenomenal product. I would, like if somebody said, even my first Tesla ever was a Model 3, from there I got a Model X, and from there I got a Model S Plaid, right? And I have nothing but good things to say about Tesla. Nothing as far as the product goes. And so it sucks that we're in this situation where, you know, sales are literally trending negative when the product is actually a very, very good product they have in the market. But it doesn't matter. And I bring it back to an example of when I was in, I think I was probably in the 8th grade, maybe the 9th grade. And for Christmas one year, my big present I got was an MP3 player, but it wasn't an iPod. It was a Sony product. And this Sony product was phenomenal. It was by far and away, in my opinion, way better than an iPod. It actually had a touch screen and everything. Like that wasn't even stuff Apple had back then. It was all like analog, right? But at the end of the day, did that Sony product ever take off? No. Even though it was a better product, no, it never took off. Apple understood the marketing game better, understood how to sell better, and obviously the rest is history, right? So it's just because you got a good product in the market doesn't mean anything. And here we are in a moment where Tesla's giving away vehicles. I mean, just giving them away, and they still can't move them. You look at a Model 3. Once again, a phenomenal product. You can say nothing bad about a Model 3. $299 a month to lease that baby with $1,000 down, and you still can't move these? Come on, man. The Model Y lease from $499? The Model Y is an amazing product, arguably the best vehicle in the world for the price point. And you can't move this thing? Like, come on, man. Like, it just should not be this way. It should not be this way at all, right? And you look at, even if you were thinking about buying a vehicle straight up, right? You had the $7,500 federal tax credit that you had for a while, and they still can't move these things. All these price cuts, all these incentives, insanely cheap prices, especially in $20, like, come on. And we still can't move this product? What is going on here, right? The moral of the story is, in regards to this first point, is Apple has a rotten core, indicates fungal infection in decay, making Apple unsafe to eat. This is Tesla, and this is investing in Tesla. When the core of the product, the core of the business is broken, you got big problems, and it's not up for debate. This isn't an opinion. This is a fact. The core of Tesla's business is rotten right now, and that's no bueno. And it's not like it just happened in the last quarter. No, it's been rotten for a while now at this point in time, which gets us into point number 2. Growing categories are about to plummet, because even if you look past the rotten core of the business, you could say there's 2 segments of Apple's business, of their 3 segments, that have been growing very rapidly. And those businesses are energy generation and storage revenue, which is this line item right here, and services and other revenue. Now, if we go back to a quarter ago, energy generation and storage revenue was up 113% year over year. Services and other revenue was up 31% year over year. Extremely strong growth. So you would look at the core of the business, which is automotive revenues, and say, well, yeah, that sucks. But at least our energy generation and storage revenues, flying to the sky, and at least services and other revenues flying to the sky, right? And if you look on a full year basis, energy generation and storage in 2024 was up 67%. Services and other revenue was up 27%. So that was great. But we got problems, folks. We have problems. So in the latest quarter, energy generation and storage revenue is now down to 67% growth. From the previous quarter was at 113% growth. And services was at 31% growth year over year, now down to 15%. That's not even the worst part. That's a huge deceleration in both of those, cut in half type numbers. That's not even the worst part. Now we have to start comping against insanely tough numbers. So if you look at energy generation and storage revenue, $3 billion it did in Q2 2024. The latest quarter we did $2.7 billion. So there's a decent probability that energy generation and storage revenue is going to start going negative or very small growth rates. Oh boy. Oh boy. Services and other revenue, right? Now we're going to have to start comping against these quarters where we are $2.6 billion, $2.7 billion, $2.8 billion of services and other revenue. Look at where we are at in this latest quarter, $2.6 billion. So the moral of the story is here, we got brutal comps coming, and the revenue growth from these 2 massive growth engines is going to slow and potentially even start going down. So then what are we going to have to go off of? Oh my gosh, right? Now you got to understand the Biden administration was extremely pro a company like Tesla, right? Through their, what they called Inflation Reduction Act, IRA, right? This was something that benefited a company like Tesla in one of the most direct ways you could possibly have, right? And all of this is going to start to come to an end over this next year or 2. All this Inflation Reduction Act related stuff, right? And if you look at Tesla's battery production tax credits under the Inflation Reduction Act could generate up to $250 million per quarter. Tesla has been a major recipient of federal infrastructure grants for building EV charging stations. Tesla's energy generation storage revenue has benefited from manufacturing credits with a total of $756 million for the year of 2024, right? Huge. Like that whole Inflation Reduction Act the Biden administration did was so beneficial to Tesla. They made so much money off of that. That's all going bye-bye, folks. Then it's all going bye-bye, and that's not going to be good news for Tesla. Tesla was the 3rd largest recipient of these funds since the program started, right? No bueno. Now that leads us to the biggest services opportunity. The biggest services opportunity for Tesla is seen as FSD, right? If everybody that owns a Tesla all gets FSD plans and pays $99 a month or $199 a month, right? That would be great. But from my experience with the FSD product, it's a good product. but it's not perfect, and it's more annoying than just driving your own vehicle, is what I found. You have to stay on top of it more. It does a lot of annoying things where it doesn't drive human enough, I would call it. And it's not a great experience. It's a okay or good experience. It's the type of thing that if I lived in LA and I had to drive to work an hour each day, it would be worth getting FSD. But outside of somebody that's in stop and go traffic all the time, I don't see it being worth it. And so that big services opportunity is unfortunately just the product's not good enough to at the end of the day, everybody say, I'm gonna go buy this. And you gotta understand, even when it's really a great product and it's not just good, even when it's great, a lot of people are still not gonna want it because it's gonna be an extra $99 a month or $199 a month. And a lot of people just like driving at the end of the day. And so that's a whole situation we gotta deal with, right? So the only question is now with these growing categories that have been the growth engines of Tesla is how bad are growth rates going to get over this next year? Are we going to be talking about energy business going negative? Or are we going to be talking about single digit growth? People are used to 100% type growth rates. Now we could be talking about 5%, 10% growth, negative numbers, services revenue. People were used to 30% revenue up on a year over year basis. And now we could be talking about that services and other revenue might be up like 5%, 10%. Oh my gosh, what happens if it goes negative? Then what do you have to go off of, right? Insane. So to recap so far, off just these 2 points, we have a rotten core business and the exciting growth business is about to be no bueno. We got problems, big problems, folks. Number 3, it's a business without a purpose. And that is usually not a very good thing, especially for a company like Tesla that has a massive valuation, a business without a purpose. So if we go back 10, 15 years ago, Tesla's mission, what are they here for, right? What is their purpose? What are they going after? It was very clear to transition the world to sustainable energy. We're going to save the planet. That was Tesla's pitch. And even when I was investing in the stock back in 2019, it was very clear that's what Elon was trying to do. And he would even say that. We're trying to transition the world to sustainable energy. We're trying to save the planet, right? It's like this big mission we're going after, right? That mission is dead. It's done for. Once Elon started to move more and more to the right into the Republican Party, we know the Republican Party does not take climate change or any of this stuff or sustainable. They don't take any of this stuff serious. We know that, right? And so once you start to align yourself with the right, your whole mission of what you were trying to do is now out the window. So now you have no mission, right? And me personally, I would say 80% of the people I know voted Trump, right? I know a lot of people that are business owners, a lot of people with money. And I know the media might try to pitch things as the left is the people with the money. No. Trust me, the people that I all know in real life that have money, they vote right, okay? And so they vote Trump. They lean right? 80% of the people I know. Of that 80%, I would say at least half, because I talked with these folks, what their opinion is on this and this and this. I would say at least half of those folks believe climate change is a hoax. A hoax. As in it's not real. They believe that fossil fuels are not bad. And you could burn all the oil you want and all the coal you want and nothing bad's going to happen. And that's a massive segment of the right. So it's clear as day, that whole mission Tesla used to go after 5, 10, 15 years ago, it's dead. It's done for now at this point in time, right? So where does your mission go from here if you're Tesla? Well, you can say, we want to be Uber, but without the driver inside, okay? Is that passionate of a mission to replace Uber with no driver? You're going from we're saving the planet, we're saving this beautiful thing that is Earth, that humanity has, to we want to replace Uber without a driver. Come on, man. You think that's a mission to go after? What are we talking about here, right? I mean, what a step down. We're going to save the planet we want to be Uber? Come on. You say, we want to be an AI company. That's going to be our big mission. We want to be an AI company. You and everybody else. Who doesn't want to be an AI company? Every freaking big tech company wants to be an AI company. Every single one of them's pitching, we're investing all this money, we're AI. That's not some big mission to go after. Come on, man. Everybody's going to be an AI company, right? You say, we're going to make robots so you don't have to hire landscapers. You can fire your landscapers, right? That's not a great mission to go after. Come on. I'm going to make robots so I can fire my landscapers and fire my pool man, and you can fire your house cleaner and all that stuff, right? And plus, we know how this ends. You ever seen iRobot? We know how this movie ends. It's not pretty, right? It's not pretty how it ends. Come on, man. But by the way, I can't wait to fire my 10-year-old because, I don't think he's been doing a very good job of cleaning my fountain in the front yard. And I can't wait to tell him, hey, iRobot's here to replace you, boy. You lost your job, right? And by the way, all you guys that are rooting for these robots and you're like so happy Tesla's going to be making these robots someday, which probably isn't going to be till the 2030s, by the way. It's not happening anytime soon. But you're so thrilled about this. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to fire all these people. I can't wait to the robots take over. Listen, man, all I hear is complaints constantly from men that they can't get a freaking date. They're on these dating apps. They can't get a date, right? Dude, you think it's bad now? Just wait till the robots are here. Wait till the robots are here. Oh my gosh. You think it's hard getting a date now? Just wait till the robots, they're going to beat up everybody. Women aren't going to need any protection from man anymore. The robot's going to handle that. Plus, they're going to not get tired in bed after 2 minutes, like you guys that need a jelly roll after 2 minutes, okay? Give me a chili dog. I'm tired. I need a chili dog, baby. Sorry about this. Fourth point here. All our best customers hate us now. They all freaking hate Tesla. All our best customers. When you think about, why is Tesla at $800 billion market cap, right? Why has Tesla had all this success? It's from three groups of people. Liberals, Europeans, and Chinese. If you look at who actually buys Teslas and who supported Elon and supported the brand all these years, liberals, Europeans, and Chinese. That's not a debate. That's a fact, right? And now the liberals hate Tesla with a passion because of all the stuff Elon's tweeted over the past number of years and all the stuff and all his sentiment and negativity toward liberals. Liberals, dude, they have the worst opinion of Elon Musk. And it used to be they were the biggest backers. It's flipped 100% now. The Europeans used to love Elon. They used to love Tesla. Boom, that's out the window. And the Chinese, because of now Elon Musk, basically connection with Trump and how those two are kind of tied. Now with all this negativity at China, oh my gosh, big problems, right? Now you think about some of the situations that have happened over the years that really hurt a brand and hurt a company or business or whatever, right? The Colin Kaepernick situation was very negative for the NFL over that next several years. And, I feel like the NFL's kind of moved past that now, but it was an overhang on the NFL because of, how some people felt that they boycotted the NFL for years. I don't want to watch the NFL because of the Colin Kaepernick situation, right? Bud Light, now look at Bud Light sales numbers over the past year or so. Awful, very big negative thing that happened in regards to Bud Light. Target wanted to sell some items that, some people weren't too fond of, and it hurt Target sales massively, right? Let me be very clear. Those situations were child's play in regards to their brands compared to what Elon Musk has done to the Tesla brand now at this point in time. This is like a nuke compared to a little BB in terms of these other situations. These were the warm-ups, and Elon Musk has shown us here's how to absolutely devastate your brand, right? Absolutely incredible. Now, if you look at the Tesla sales drop in Europe, it's dramatic. It's dramatic. Country by country. You just go through it, man. And keep in mind, next quarter is going to likely be even worse in regards to this. And if you think this is some quick fix that Tesla's going to magically, be able to fix this, or Elon Musk is going to be able to magically fix his brand, and all of a sudden the liberals are all going to love Tesla again, and all the Europeans are going to love Tesla again, and the Chinese. Dude, it's going to take years to rebuild the brand. This is not going to be just forgotten. The Europeans are not just going to forget about all this stuff that's happened. The liberals are not just going to forget about all this stuff that's happened. The Chinese are not just going to forget about. It's going to take 5-10 years to recover the brand, if that even happens. And there's no guarantee that that's even going to happen, by the way. But this is going to be it's just going to magically, happen. And if you think all the conservatives are all going to trade in their F-150s and their Silverados to go drive a Cybertruck around, I got news for you. That ain't happening. Part 5. we have a part-time CEO. And this was the last straw. I was hoping on that conference call, Elon was going to say, I'm fully focused my attention on Tesla. I'm leaving Doge, all that stuff behind. No, we have a part-time CEO. Now, it's a great saying, you might have heard this before, especially if you're involved in sports, right? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And we have a CEO at Tesla that no longer works hard at Tesla, right? Once again, not up for debate. It's a fact, right? Now, if we go talk about Tesla prior to Rona, right? And we think about where Tesla was prior to Rona, prior to 2020. Basically the time period I was investing in Tesla back in that like 2018, 2019 timeframe, right? I could confidently say that Tesla at that time was 5 to 7 years ahead of US and EU competition. So you could put them against Ford or GM or Volkswagen or Toyota or Honda or Hyundai or Kia or whoever you want to put them against. They were, 5 to 7 years ahead. We'll just call it any competition outside of China. Let's just call it that, okay? Because even the Asian competitors, 5 to 7 years ahead, ex-China, right? Now, in terms of strictly China, back then, I would say Tesla was about 3 to 5 years ahead of the competition in China at that particular time, right? So we were way out in front, and then there's a reason I'm showing Steve Jobs there, because it was always, Steve Jobs was always trying to have Apple back when he was at Apple. He always wanted to have Apple not just ahead of the competition, he wanted to have them years ahead of the competition. It wasn't good enough to just be, our tech is here. No, he wanted to be like 5 years ahead, and it used to be a famous thing that Steve Jobs would have Apple 5 years ahead of the competition, right? Here's where we're at now, in my opinion. We're only like 1 to 2 years ahead of the non-Chinese competition. I'm looking at many of these EVs that are coming out that I could buy now in the US, and I'm looking at the range of the vehicles, the specs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is not far off of Tesla, and some of them are actually even slightly ahead. So now we're at a moment where I feel like the competition is catching up in a major way in regards to the non-Chinese competition, okay? And at this point in China, I can't even confidently say we're ahead of the competition anymore in China. I cannot confidently say that. When I see the product that's out there in the Chinese market, I cannot say like, oh, we're ahead of the Chinese. No, not anymore. So we have blown a lead. This is like when the Patriots played the Falcons and the Falcons blew that crazy lead in the Super Bowl. That's how I feel in regards to Tesla. I'm like, dude, we were so far ahead of everybody. It wasn't even close. Everybody was considered a joke compared to Tesla. We used to laugh about the competition's coming. We used to laugh about it. But then when you take your eye off the prize for several years, you know what happens? The competition that used to be a joke actually starts to catch up and actually starts to get there. And you're like, freak, man, like we were celebrating, popping champagne. And meanwhile, like the competition kept working, kept focused, and it happened, right? And so what happened here? Well, Elon Musk took his eye off the ball, right? I would say things really started to go south when back in April of 2022, which is 3 years ago, right? Musk made the offer to buy Twitter. At that moment, that's when Elon Musk's attention started to be diverted away from Tesla in a substantial way, right? And all of a sudden he started focusing on X and that acquisition, and then trying to get X and cleaning out of the employees, and he brought the sink into the office and all the stuff that happened there, right? And then he started moving more and more toward political tweets and started moving more and more to the right, and just, it was clear as day, like this man is not spending a good chunk of time at all on Tesla anymore, right? No, if you think about Elon, right? Elon made his money 3 big ways, okay? His first big way of making money was actually from a company he started, which was kind of like an online bank. Back when that was like not even a big thing, he saw an opportunity there to basically kind of create an online bank, which then later merged with a digital wallet company that ended up becoming PayPal, essentially. So he saw this like vision before other people saw it, had little to no competition, and was able to go in there and create a big business and got a windfall of money from that, right? The second way he made a ton of money is SpaceX, right? No competition once again. SpaceX had no competition when they were doing all that stuff, right? Like there wasn't like, there's this company, right? Blue Origin obviously has been something that's gotten more popular over the past 5-7 years, Jeff Bezos' company. But at the end of the day, like SpaceX really had no competition. So if you look at these ways of making money, no real competition there he had. He had no real competition when it came to SpaceX. And then Tesla, same exact thing. Like, everybody didn't start even taking EVs serious until really the past few years, right? And so Tesla for the longest time had no serious competition. So Elon made his great fortune from all these things that he would see before other people saw it, and it, basically had no serious competition at all. Well, that's changed now, okay? If you look at like Twitter, for instance, he bought that. It was valued at $44 billion. The valuation's gotten supposedly all the way down to $12 billion. We don't know, how low it's gotten. They're talking about maybe it's back to its old valuation of $44 billion now, right? But the moral of the story is Elon Musk, it doesn't look like he's made any money from X at all over the past 3 years of owning that, right? It's tough to compete with the big dogs. He's got to compete head-to-head with Meta. He's got to compete head-to-head with the Chinese with their TikTok app in those sort of social medias. He's learning it's tough when you got to compete with big dogs, right? Additionally, now we're going to go into this rideshare market that he talks so arrogantly, cocky about. He thinks, Tesla's won. You can just hear it in his voice. He talks so cocky, right? And he's going to now have to go head-to-head with Google. With infinite amounts of money coming out of their head. They don't even know what to do with all the money, right? He's going to have to go head-to-head with Google. And Google doesn't lose. Ask Apple. Steve Jobs, he put Apple in a great position with the iOS store, right? And Apple's product. At the end of the day, Apple still ended up losing the war against Google. Google ended up with, by far and away, the bigger market share with Android than Apple. So Apple still has a very successful business, but a very small market share, across the world, right? He's got to go head-to-head with Google. This isn't like some market that there's no serious competition. No, there's serious competition. And Waymo's in the market today with vehicles today that will drive you around with no driver inside. Something that Tesla hopes to eventually do at some point this year. Waymo's been doing this, and they're expanding rapidly. Additionally, he's going to have to go head-to-head with Amazon as well. There's these Zoox products that are in the market. These drive all over the Las Vegas Strip. If you ever go on the Las Vegas Strip, you'll see plenty of these. It's the city I live in, right? He's going to have to go head-to-head with Amazon. Amazon's got money coming out of everywhere, okay? He's going to have to go head-to-head with Amazon. This is serious competition. This isn't like when he was, trying to create PayPal back in the day and there was no competition. SpaceX had no competition. Tesla had no competition. No. Now you're going direct against Google and Amazon. Oh, and there's that one company. I forget about them. Uber. You think Dara and Uber is just going to go laying down and say, you guys can take us all over. We got 70 plus % of the market share, but no, here, you guys just take it all. No. Of course, Uber is going to fight with every muscle in their body to make it sure they survive, right? And do whatever they have to do so they don't end up with a market share of 5%, in 10 years from now, right? This is serious competition they're going to have to go with, right? The days of Elon Musk sleeping on the factory floor are long gone, right? Now, this is a much bigger point I'm about to make here that you got to really understand on a high level, right? When you have a leader of an organization that is a part-time worker, your workforce, you're going to get part-time results from your workforce. In order to have a great whatever behind you, whether it's a team or whatever, they got to feel like the leader works his butt off and is out there every day focused on this thing they're going after, right? I don't think there's anybody that works at Tesla, and I know, a good amount of people that work at Tesla. I don't think there's anybody that works at Tesla that really feels like Elon Musk is at all focused on Tesla, which leads a workforce to not really rally behind their leader. What is your motivation to do amazing things or work super hard when your leader is just a side project for him, right? There's not a lot of motivation for you. It's very different than Tesla 5 or 10 years ago when everybody was going after this big goal, when the company had his back against the wall and had this small valuation. You had a leader that was like, I'm going to sleep on the factory floor if I got to. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to work 7 days a week here if I got to. Those days are long gone. And that creates a workforce that's not very incentivized. You want to go to war with them? Of course not. Imagine Phil Jackson, great, NBA coach, maybe the best ever, right? Imagine if he was just like, part-time coming in, you think Michael Jordan would have won all those championships and Kobe Bryant would have won all those championships if Phil Jackson was just a part-time coach? No. Think if Bill Belichick was just a part-time NFL coach and was just part-time in it, you think the Patriots and Tom Brady would have won all those Super Bowls? Come on, man. You got to wake up at some point in time. You got to understand how business works. You got to understand how a workforce is motivated or not motivated. And if you feel like your CEO's part-time in it, why are you going to give great effort? If you're an executive, why do you even want to work for Tesla? Your fearless leader is a part-time CEO, a part-timer, right? That's probably looking for yes men around him and a yes men board of directors. And then you get yes men results, right? That's what happens. And that's important you understand this. And you got to ask yourself, like, why did this happen? Well, if you're Elon Musk, your net worth's $355 billion, right? People will buy and hold your stock regardless of how trash your numbers are. You could post bad numbers after bad numbers after bad numbers after bad numbers after bad numbers. You could just say, we promise in this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, even though, we know these things don't work out. If people are willing to just continue to buy your stock and hold your stock, no matter what you do, where's your motivation? It's like welfare for the rich, I would call it, okay? So there's if you're on welfare or some sort of government assistance, people always say, like, where's your incentive to work? Because the government's just giving you money, right? The government's just giving you money, why are you going to work? This is the same exact thing for somebody like an Elon Musk. It's just we're doing a welfare for the rich. Where it's like, where's his incentive? Like, Tesla has like an $800 billion valuation, even though their numbers are garbage, the core business is rotten, the growth businesses are about to tank, right? They're behind competition now in several different key areas, and they're about to try to go to battle with a part-time CEO against some of the biggest companies in the world. Good luck. And so that's why this has happened. That's why Elon Musk, at the end of the day, like, where's his incentive? If Tesla stock was a $50 billion market cap, I can tell you, Elon Musk's incentive would be very, very different. But when people will buy your stock and hold your stock, no matter what, you could just say, oh, we're going to be creating a billion trillion robots, and oh, we're going to win this. If people just believe it, like they're just going to continue to hold, and like at the end of the day, it's just welfare for the rich, right? Next up, what would it take for me to buy Tesla back in future years? I don't know, man. I don't want to say I would never own Tesla again, but like I just have trouble seeing like how they're gonna. Because let's be very clear, Tesla's a turnaround company now, and that sounds insane to say, but it's the truth. The core business is broken. The growth businesses are about to go to very small growth rates, maybe even negative. It's a turnaround company. And so with turnaround companies, you got to get them for dirt cheap valuations. Does Tesla have a dirt cheap valuation? Absolutely not. The forward Ps, the price to sales ratios, all that stuff is insanely high. So the valuation would need to come down so dramatically from here. I'm talking like a 70, 80% crash to make me say, you know what, this is worth me throwing some money in. Or I would need to see Elon go full-time back at Tesla again and put in like crazy work, crazy effort, and get the whole workforce re-energized. It needs to be dramatic, though. It's not like there's a small, like, Tesla stock falls to 190, I'll buy it. No. I wouldn't buy Tesla today at 120. The stock could fall 50% from here, and I have 0% interest in buying Tesla. Things are that bad, factually, with the company. So, I'll never say never, but man, so much needs to happen for me to, even buy this one. So, goodbye, Tesla Tesla. It was fun. Made crazy money on that stock over the years, but, yeah, it's sad it had to end this way, but at the end of the day, it's, there's always going to be, someday I'll sell Meta stock, right? Out of it completely. Like every stock I buy, there will be a day that eventually I'll sell out of that stock completely, right? And, Tesla stock I held many, many years and through a lot of dramatic times, but it's clear, like, things are in, it's not worth it anymore. So, alrighty guys, appreciate you joining me. Much love as always, and have a great day.